All right, with Jonathan Jones, let's bring in our two-time Super Bowl champion, Brian McFadden. B-Mac, let's start here. You're a defensive back. Did you have a problem with no OPI on the Godwin play, which was, 18 seconds ago, got him down to the 18-yard line? Would you have thrown the flag? Look, I could see the pain right there. Go ahead. What are you going to do there?
No question. No question. You have to throw that flag. It's so one-sided in favor of offensive players that it's a shame, right? He extended his arms. He extended his arms with so much force. Lewis, I think it was, fell down. What else do you want the defensive back to do? What else? Because if it was the other way around, they would have thrown the flag on the defender. It's a back shoulder fade, so he needed to create separation. And look at this. What that extension created what? Separation. Is that not a flag? How? I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm not saying that one play was the deciding factor, but it played a huge part, a huge big part in that game-winning field goal.
It pretty much is a deciding factor. Right. If you call that flag, the chances of Dallas winning at that point in time go up astronomically as opposed to down astronomically. That flag is the difference. JJ, did you like the no call? And what is sort of the league's stance? What have I know you've been researching this and investigating this and getting stuff on this in terms of OPI.
Yeah, it's not all that surprising, right? Much to B-Mac's chagrin, it's not surprising that they didn't throw the flag. And that's because when you look at last season, they only threw OPI once every 4 or so games out of the 256 games. They actually had the fewest OPI calls in the NFL since 2013, which was the lowest that I could find even on record. That's something that the officials and that the league has been talking with the officials about throughout this summer and preseason training camp when they all meet with coaches and officials. Hey, we want to officiate OPI more consistently. They love the way that they officiated DPI. In fact, they had the most DPI calls that the league has seen in several years, but they wanted to officiate more OPIs. So with that knowledge going into this game, when I saw that happen, I was expecting the flag. I was surprised not to see it because I thought on those 50-50 calls, if you will, and it wasn't 50-50 for B-Mac or anyone who has played his position, but I did think based off what I had been told, they would have thrown the flag there.
I'm not sure how much he got into him, but I do think that's why the defensive back fell. That's why I would have been okay had they thrown the flag. I mean, I don't care who wins. So
it's a cause and effect.
Right. I'm not a Dallas fan. I'm not a Tampa Bay fan. I didn't have a rooting interest. So as one person, and I'm only one person, neutral, I was surprised the flag didn't come out. I probably would have thrown it myself. All right. If that's the game headline, controversy, was it or was it not OPI? What's the headline going forward? Is it, hey, Dak threw for over 400 yards? Is it, hey, Tom Brady just finds a way and will do it again? Is it Gronk's back? What's your headline going forward from this game, B-Mac?
The Buccaneers, they have some holes. That's the headline. Offensively, they were gelling. They were executing. Defensively, they have some issues primarily in the back end, the secondary. The secondary, they have some issues, and because of that, they were vulnerable. They were vulnerable. So me personally, the headline, Buccaneers big-time win on a national stage. Anytime you can start off 1-0, it's a plus. But the defense, we all felt would be better this season. EK, the headlines is the defense is not as good as we thought they would be.
Headline for me is that Dak Prescott could very legitimately win NFL MVP. And he was on that trajectory before, of course, that gruesome foot and ankle injury that he suffered there 5 weeks into the season last year. But now throwing for more than 400 yards. And now you consider that there are 17 games. Dak Prescott, it's one game. Dak Prescott's on pace to pass for 6,800 yards this season. That'd break Peyton Manning's single season record that he set less than 10 years ago. But, you know, that he was able to do what he did and be so consistent, not at 100%. We saw the way that he was floating the ball in there. Didn't have 100% zip on the ball on several of those throws that you would have liked to see him have that sort of zip on the ball. But he was able to continue to target Amari Cooper, continue to target CeeDee Lamb, even with those drops. And he did it all without any semblance of a run game. Ezekiel Elliott, outside of that one carry for 13 yards. He had 10 carries for 20 yards. That's the run game that that the Dallas Cowboys were able to establish, and he wasn't going out there and using his wills. Dak Prescott was not. So I am very, very impressed with what Dak Prescott was able to do. Banged up, surely not at 100%, and as he continues to get healthy, he is going to be in that conversation with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen as NFL MVP.
Look, they called 62 pass plays. He threw it 58 times, had to pull it down and run it 4 times. And they only called 14 running plays to the running backs. If they're going to do that, and now that we have 17 games, I would think that you could legitimately say, I know it's only one game, but Dak, you got to keep an eye out that he has a chance to maybe set the all-time record for passing yards in a season with the extra game and with what he did last year and now what you see what they're going to do this year, the passing yards. That would sort of be my sort of headline going forward. All right. JJ, there's always an overreaction week 1, right? If you pull out week 1 at the end of last year, Tampa Bay got beat. They ended up winning the Super Bowl. You had all kinds of guys you didn't even hear of that ended up making a huge impact. What's sort of a fake headline that people are going to say, oh, week 1, you're going to go pump your brakes there?
Well, and B-Mac actually used the headline, and he said it in the right way, but I'm just going to go in what the fake headline is going to be, which is there is cause for real concern with these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They don't have a chance at repeating. Did you see how they struggled against the Dallas Cowboys and that defense that was so terrible last year? Look, this Cowboys offense is very for real, and this Buccaneers defense is also for real. They lost Sean Murphy-Bunting. Well, when they lost him, what did the Dallas Cowboys do? They went exactly at the replacement for Sean Murphy-Bunting, whether that was Jamel Dean or Ross Cockrell throughout the rest of the game. Those things are going to happen, and sometimes you just don't have depth. You return all 22 starters. Well, sometimes you can't really deal when one of those guys goes down. That's what happened there. I still think that this is a quality Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. This is a team that, of course, they were in a lot of close games last season. And really, in the first 12 weeks of the year, they didn't come out on the winning end of those. But when it came down to it, in the final 8 games, 4 in the regular season, 4 in the postseason, they got the job done. And I think ultimately this is a team that knows how to do the job and get it done. But they played against a team that we were wondering where they stood, where they ranked in the echelon of the NFC. I think that we're fine putting the Dallas Cowboys there comfortably in that second tier with a group of teams that we're going to find out more about this week. But no, I'm not overly concerned about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here in week 1.
Well, my overreaction watching this ball game tonight, I hope you guys are prepared for this. The Dallas Cowboys should consider moving on from Ezekiel Elliott. They should trade him.
You believe he looks slow? This wasn't just a 1-week thing? You have real concern about Zeke?
I have real concerns. Granted, played against one of the best run defenses in the National Football League. But when you look at the opportunity to show the individual talent, we didn't see that burst. We didn't see the quickness. We didn't see the moves. I mean, that option play right on the 6-yard line when Adams, who was on the practice squad, open field, one-on-one, made that play on Ezekiel Elliott. A $90 million running back, you have to show your skills of being an elite type back. And what I saw from tonight's ball game against a playoff championship caliber team, the Cowboys could win ball games without number 21. Actually, they saw more production from Pollard than anything when he was in the ball game because of the versatility. So I'm saying, yes, the topic is an overreaction from week 1 based on this ball game, right? Yes, they should consider moving on from Ezekiel Elliott. If you're making $90 million, you have to give me more than 33 yards. You have to. You have to. I don't care who you're playing against. This is a 5-star matchup, so I need my 5-star players to show up. Dak Prescott's a 5-star player. He showed up. Amari Cooper is a 5-star player. He showed up. CeeDee Lamb, not quite there when you talk about 5-star players, but he showed up. Who didn't show up? 21.
Let me go the other side of the ball while I have you here because you were a defensive player, won the 2 Super Bowls with Pittsburgh. Dallas's defense coming in took a lot of abuse. You know, this is a bad unit. They're going to get a lot. Should Dallas be happy with the way they played defensively? I mean, they did give up 31 points, but they only gave up 7 in the second half until that last field goal, and you said that should have been OPI, which would have, basically got them a win, and they basically would have held Brady in the second half. How should I feel about the Dallas defense right now?
They fought. They were more competitive. I saw guys flying around, right, EK, right, Jonathan? They play with a lot of energy. The issue for the Cowboys defense was in between the 20s. I mean, they couldn't stop Tom Brady. And then when Brady got in the red zone, they couldn't stop Tom Brady. But what they became was an opportunistic defense. They forced turnovers. They had 4 turnovers. However they happened. So that's a plus, but they have to find a way to either be better in the red zone or be better in between the 20s. Because like I said, Touchdown Tom had an outstanding ball game. His wide receivers had an outstanding ball game. But I do believe the Cowboys defense, they've improved based on what we saw last year. They've improved, especially on the ground and pound attack. They only allowed 52 yards. Remember, they couldn't stop any opposing team, offensive team, from running the football down in the teeth of their defense. They have improved when it comes to that element. But I take it as a plus because they played against one of the best offenses in the National Football League with the GOAT at the quarterback position. So, yes, they improved, in my opinion, but you still want to win the ball game.
All right, well said. Let's wrap it up here. JJ, did the team that deserved to win tonight win?
They did. Listen, there were some opportunities that Dallas got and didn't get, and the 4 turnovers, but we're not really going to count that Hail Mary interception. But no.
Yeah, I'm not saying better team, but the team who deserved to win tonight win?
Yeah, the Bucs deserve to win tonight. But the Dallas Cowboys deserve to be in it till the very last moment.
Which they were. All right, so Tampa Bay gets the W, and the champs now 1-0. Here you go. Most 400-plus pass games since last season. Oh, by the way, they only played in 5 games last season. They played in 4 full games last season. So in those 5 full games played, because he got hurt in the 5th game, 80% of the time, it works every time for Dak getting to 400.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.